The prisoner in the metal cage. The sky was dark, filled with smoke and fire. The battlefield was silent now, except for the low hum of a broken alien warship. Captain Jack Reeves walked slowly through the wreckage, his boots crunching on metal and ash. His helmet lights flickered. The battle was over, but something still didn't feel right. Jack was alone. His team had died in the fight 2 days ago. Since then, he had been searching the enemy ship, not for weapons, but for answers. Inside the massive ship, the walls were cold and black. Symbols glowed faintly, written in the alien language. Jack moved carefully through the dark hallway, holding his rifle tight. He turned a corner and stopped. He heard it again. A sound. Not machines. Not wind. It was breathing. He raised his gun and followed the sound down a narrow path. At the end was a heavy door, half open. He stepped inside. It was a prison chamber. Rows of empty cages lined the walls, all made of strange metal. But one cage was not empty. Inside, a tall figure sat quietly in the shadows. She looked up. Jack froze. She wasn't human. The prisoner was an alien, a female from the Zarketh, the enemy race. She was strong, with silver skin, deep purple eyes, and scars glowing faintly on her arms. Her armor was broken. Her hands and ankles were chained. She stared at Jack without fear. He kept his gun ready. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she stood slowly, even with chains around her. Her voice was deep, calm, and clear. "You are not like the others." Jack frowned. "You're one of them. Why are you in a cage?" "They feared me," she said. "I refused to follow their order to burn the villages. I questioned the High Commander, so they called me a traitor." Jack looked at the cage controls. They were damaged but not completely broken. "Why should I trust you?" he asked. She looked straight into his eyes. "Because you came alone. Because you asked questions." Jack didn't know why, but something in her voice felt honest. Still, she was the enemy. Dangerous. Trained for war. He started to walk away. Then she said something that made him stop. "Free me, and I will swear loyalty to you, no matter what happens next." Jack turned around slowly. "Swear loyalty? Why?" "You gave me a choice, no one else did." He looked at her again. She was not begging, not afraid, just waiting. He sighed. "This is a bad idea," he muttered. Jack pressed a few buttons. The cage hissed open. The chains dropped to the floor. She stepped out. Suddenly, a loud alarm screamed through the ship. Red lights flashed. Jack's heart raced. "They know we're here," he shouted. "Follow me," she said quickly, grabbing a broken spear from the floor. "I know a way out." They ran through the halls, jumping over fallen walls and dodging sparks from damaged systems. The ship began to shake. Enemy drones flew in from the ceiling. She moved like lightning, slashing and dodging with grace. Jack covered her with his rifle. Together, they reached the exit hatch. Outside, the sky was full of fire. Enemy ships circled above, searching. They ran into the trees, deep into the forest. Hours passed. The forest was quiet now. They sat near a fallen tree, catching their breath. Jack looked at her again. "You never told me your name." She looked at him and said, "Talara. I was once commander of the Nightblades." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Nightblades? Sounds dangerous." "It was," she said simply. He looked away, thinking. "What happens now?" She paused, then answered in a soft voice. "Now, I follow you." Jack shook his head. "I'm just a soldier, I have no plan." "Then we make one," she said. He looked at her, really looked this time. She was still dangerous, but she had saved him. She had no reason to lie. She was something different. Before he could speak, she added something quietly. "You have claimed me. My blade is yours. My heart may follow." Jack didn't know what to say. The fire in the sky had faded, but something else had started to burn. trust, maybe even something deeper. Hunted by both worlds, the forest was not quiet anymore. It was watching them. Jack Reeves moved silently under the trees, his eyes scanning the shadows. Behind him, Talara walked without a sound, as if her feet barely touched the ground. Her silver skin blended into the moonlight, but her eyes were always alert. She was a warrior, born in blood and fire, now walking beside a human who should have been her enemy. But now they were both the hunted. The Alliance Command had just released a warning. A human soldier had gone rogue. He had escaped with a dangerous alien prisoner. Jack's own people wanted him dead. The Zarketh Empire had sent out drones and scouts. Their message was clear: return the traitor or die with her. No home, no allies, only each other. 3 days passed in silence and survival. They moved through deep forest, ruined cities, and burned fields. Every night Jack tried to sleep with one eye open. Every morning he woke up surprised to still be alive. Talara was always awake before him. She barely rested. She didn't eat much. Her body healed quickly. Her mind never seemed to relax. Once Jack watched her stand still for 2 hours, eyes closed, hands in a strange shape, like she was remembering something. On the 4th day, they reached the edge of the Red Canyon, a dead zone full of storm winds and broken satellites. A perfect hiding place, but they were not alone. That night, as they set up a small fire under a broken satellite dish, Jack finally spoke. "Why did you really help me back there? On the ship?" Talara didn't look at him. "Because I saw something." "Saw what?" "You were afraid, but you didn't let it control you. You had power, but you didn't use it to hurt." Jack chuckled. "So you thought I was weak?" She looked at him then, sharply. "No, I thought you were rare." The fire cracked softly between them. The air was cold, but her voice was warm. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed through the canyon, a high-pitched whistle. Mechanical. Then another, closer. Jack jumped up. Scanners. Talara already had her blade in hand. 3 drones, fast, from the east. Jack aimed his rifle. "We can't outrun them." "No," she said, "but we can outsmart them." She ran forward, into the shadows. Jack followed, confused. They reached a deep cave with old mining tunnels. It was dark, narrow, and cold. Inside, they hid behind a wall of scrap metal. The drones entered the cave slowly, red lights scanning everything. Then, silence. Suddenly, one drone screamed. Its light blinked, then vanished. Another fell, then the third. Jack peeked out. Talara was standing over the wreckage, her body covered in dust and sparks, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "You fight like a ghost," Jack whispered. "I fight to survive," she said simply. Later, as they rested, Jack noticed something on her arm. A mark was glowing brighter than before. A symbol. He pointed. "What's that?" She looked down, then covered it quickly. "A bond mark," she said. "When a Zarketh gives their loyalty, it becomes part of them." Jack was quiet for a moment. "So this bond thing, is it real?" "Yes," she said. "And dangerous." "Dangerous for me?" She looked at him. "No, for me. If you betray me, I will still be bound. My people will call me broken. I will never be whole again." Jack stared at the fire. "That's heavy." Talara looked into the distance. "That is why my people fear bonds. They fear weakness. They fear love." Jack blinked. "Is that what this is?" She didn't answer, but her eyes didn't leave his face. The next day they reached a rebel outpost, a human base hidden in the old mountains. Jack walked in, holding his hands up. "I need help," he said, "and she's with me." The guards saw Talara and raised their guns. She didn't move. She didn't even blink. Inside, Jack met with Commander Rains, an old war dog, scarred and suspicious. "She's an enemy," Rains growled. "You brought a snake into our nest." "She saved my life," Jack replied. I should chain her to the wall, Rain said. Jack stepped forward. Then chain me next to her. There was a long silence. Rains finally sighed. One mistake. Just one, and then I kill her myself. That night, Talara sat alone, surrounded by human soldiers whispering and watching. Jack sat beside her. You okay? He asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, They hate me. I understand. You're not alone anymore, Jack said. She looked at him, and something in her face softened. Just for a second. But far away, across space, in a dark command ship, the Zarketh High Commander watched a glowing screen. On it, Talara's image flickered. Bring her back, he ordered. Alive. Why alive? Asked his advisor. The commander's voice was cold. Because I want her to watch this human die. Slowly. First fight, first trust. The rebel outpost stood high in the cold mountains, hidden under layers of snow, steel, and silence. Jack Reeves walked through the narrow metal halls, his boots echoing against the floors. Every step reminded him he didn't belong here anymore. Not really. And neither did she. Talara, the Zarketh warrior, sat alone in a corner cell, not locked but guarded. Soldiers watched her like she was a ticking bomb. She had no weapons now, only her silent eyes, calm breath, and scars that glowed faintly under the lights. No one trusted her, not even Jack's old friends. Earlier that day, Jack had tried to speak for her during a strategy meeting. She saved me, twice, Jack told the rebel leaders. She doesn't follow the Zarketh anymore. But, Commander Rains slammed his hand on the table. She's one of them. You think loyalty changes overnight? She's not like them, Jack said. She was their prisoner too. She could be lying. Jack leaned forward. She didn't kill me when she had the chance. Isn't that proof? Rains stared at him. You've been alone too long, soldier. Maybe you want to believe she's something else. That night, Jack brought her food and a metal tray with stale bread and hot broth. You shouldn't keep bringing this, she said. You shouldn't keep saving my life, he replied, trying to smile. Talara didn't smile back. People fear me, I can feel it. They think I'm a weapon waiting to explode. Jack sat across from her. Then prove you're not. She raised an eyebrow. How? Jack didn't answer, because at that moment the alarms screamed. Lights flashed red. Outside, explosions hit the base walls like thunder. An enemy dropship had found them. The Zarketh were here. Chaos broke loose. Human rebels ran to their posts. Guns fired. The outer wall collapsed in smoke and fire. Jack grabbed his rifle and ran for the gate. Behind him, he heard a voice. Calm, strong. Unlock me. He turned. Talara stood, hands at her side. Ready. She'll kill us all. One soldier shouted. Jack looked into her eyes. There was no fear, only purpose. He unlocked the gate. Talara walked out, not fast, not angry, focused. She picked up a steel pipe from the wall. No blade, no armor. Still, she moved like a shadow of war. Outside, the Zarketh attackers were already inside the Yeo perimeter. Tall, brutal, armored warriors, her kind. One of them shouted her name. Talara, you still breathe? Then bleed with us, she answered by running straight at him. Jack watched in shock as she fought her own kind with brutal grace. Her pipe became a blur of strikes. She didn't hesitate. She didn't hold back. One of them screamed. A death cry only Zarketh made. Another tried to grab her. She spun, broke his arm, and drove his blade through his throat. Blood fell. On the snow, still she stood. Jack fought beside her, covering her blind spots. For the first time, they moved like one. She would strike. He would shoot. She would block. He would reload. The battle ended with smoke and silence. Only 5 humans had died, not dozens. The rest stared at Talara. She was standing in the snow, bleeding slightly, breathing heavy, but alive. Commander Rains walked out slowly. He looked at the bodies of the Zarketh around her. He looked at Jack, then back at her. You chose us, he said quietly. She nodded once. I chose him. Rains walked closer and dropped a small blade at her feet. Take this. Earn it. She picked it up, turned it in her hand, and nodded. That night, she sat by the fire, not in a cell, but beside the other soldiers. Still, alone but not unwanted. Later, Jack approached her again. She was cleaning the blade carefully. You didn't have to fight that hard, he said. Could have let us do the work. She looked at him. If I didn't, they'd never believe me, not with words. He nodded. They believe you now? I don't care if they do, she said. Only you. Jack sat down thinking. Why, me? Because you didn't try to own me, she said. You gave me choice. That matters more than you understand. He watched the fire dance in her eyes. Do you miss your people? He asked. She was quiet. Sometimes, but not the ones I killed today. Jack leaned back, staring at the stars. You think they'll stop hunting us? No, she said. They've just begun. Far across space, in a dark throne room on the Zarketh flagship, the High Commander stood over a giant map of Earth's colonies. A scout approached. Talara has turned. She fights for them. The commander's face was calm, cold. Then let her. We will break her heart before we break her bones. The secret weapon. The wind in the mountains had changed. It was colder now, quieter, like the world was holding its breath. Talara stood at the edge of the rebel outpost, her blade resting across her back, her sharp eyes fixed on the distant horizon. Snow fell softly around her, but her body didn't shiver, not from cold, from memory. Behind her, Jack Reeves approached, holding 2 steaming cups. Coffee, he said, offering one. You won't like it. She took it anyway, sniffed it, and frowned. It smells like burnt soil, he laughed. Yeah, we love it. She sipped, made a face, then sipped again. A few moments passed in silence. Then she spoke. I need to show you something. Jack raised an eyebrow. That's never a good sentence. She turned to face him fully. Before I was captured, before the cage, I discovered something. A weapon, hidden deep in the mountains of my world. A weapon our leaders plan to use, and not just on Earth, on every human colony. Jack blinked. Wait, every colony? That's genocide. She nodded slowly. Yes. That's why I questioned them. That's why they chained me. Jack stared at her. And now you want us to destroy it? I want us to stop it before it wakes. Later that day, inside the rebel command room, Talara showed a hologram from her wrist device. It flickered, revealing a black facility buried under a frozen crater. Strange symbols marked the doors. Heat signatures were faint, but alive. Commander. Rains leaned in. What is this place, he asked. Talara answered. A forgotten bunker from the old wars. Inside is a weapon called the Pulse Forge. Once activated, it sends out a wave of energy that breaks neural function in any species it targets. Breaks neural function? It kills thought, she said. And then the body. Silence filled the room. Jack clenched his fists. How long until it's active? Talara looked at him. Maybe days. Maybe hours. That night, Jack packed his gear. He didn't wait for orders. He had made his choice, and so had she. They flew a small recon craft deep into the wild zones, places untouched by humans, full of strange storms and dead air. Below them, endless white snow, and somewhere under it, death. As they approached the crater, the sky above darkened. Static filled the radio. Jack tried to call base. No signal. We're alone now, he muttered. Talara only nodded. Inside the crater, they found the entrance. A massive metal door carved into ice and stone, half buried. Talara stepped forward, placed her hand on a glowing panel. The door opened with a deep groan. Inside, silence. The walls were alive with strange lights. Symbols moved like rivers. It felt alive. Watching. This place wasn't built by Zarketh, Jack whispered. No, she said. It's older. Much older. My kind just found it. They moved deeper step by step, then Jack saw it. A chamber the size of a stadium. In the center, a machine like a black heart pulsing faintly. Cables wrapped around it like vines. Tubes of silver liquid flowed inside. Talara's eyes widened. It's already breathing. Jack stepped closer. Can we shut it down? Not alone, she said. It needs 2 codes, one mine, one from the new High Commander. Can we fake his code? No, but we can trick the system. If I enter mine, and you enter a false echo. Jack nodded. Show me how. They began the process, but nothing in this place wanted to be shut down. As Jack approached the console, the room screamed to life. Sirens, lights, a voice, cold, in her language. Then, drones. Metal, spider-like machines dropped from the ceiling. Their eyes glowed red. Weapons emerged from their sides. They know, Talara said. The forge is protecting itself. Jack fired. She slashed. The room turned into chaos. A drone jumped at Jack, and too fast. He didn't dodge in time. Talara threw herself in front, taking the hit. She crashed to the ground. Chest burned. Blood. Pouring. No! Jack screamed. He dragged her behind a pillar. Her breathing was weak. Her eyes fluttered. I'm sorry, she whispered. No. Don't say that. We're finishing this. He stood. Alone now. Guns almost empty. He ran to the core. Opened the panel. Entered her code, then the echo code she taught him. The machine paused. Then, it stopped. Lights went out. The drones fell, lifeless. Silence. Jack dropped to his knees beside her. She was barely conscious. You did it, she whispered. No, he said, we did. She reached for his hand. Her grip was weak, but still there. Don't let me die in the dark, she said softly. You're not, he said, tears in his eyes. You're with me. Her eyes slowly closed. Back at the rebel base days later, Jack returned alone, carrying her in his arms. Doctors rushed to him. She was alive. Barely. In the medical bay, hooked to machines, she slept like a warrior, in a healing trance. Jack sat by her side, every day, waiting. Far away on a warship above Earth, the Zarketh High Commander watched a silent screen. His weapon, gone. His traitor, still breathing. His anger, now personal. Prepare the fleet, he said. If they want war, we will bring the storm. Broken and rebuilt, the war paused, but only for a breath. Inside the cold medical wing of the rebel outpost, machines hummed softly. A white light filled the room. It was quiet. Too quiet for someone like Captain Jack Reeves, who had lived most of his life under gunfire and sirens. He sat beside the bed, unmoving for hours. Talara lay motionless, her body wrapped in healing bandages and soft light fields. The damage she took in the forge had nearly killed her. Burns across her chest, a fractured rib, a broken bond mark, something even her kind rarely survived. Jack hadn't slept since they returned. He just sat there, watching, remembering. He remembered her voice in the dark. Don't let me die in the dark. He remembered how cold her hand had become. He remembered the silence that followed. Now her hand was warm again. Her chest rose and fell, slow and steady, but she hadn't opened her eyes for 5 days. Some nights, Jack spoke to her. Quietly. They don't trust you still. Some want to send you away. He chuckled bitterly. They think I've gone soft. Maybe I have. Or maybe I just see things clearer than they do. He leaned closer. I don't care what they say. You fought for us. You bled for us. You saved me. He paused. I'd do the same for you. On the sixth night, she woke. Her eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the light. Her breath caught in her throat, but she didn't panic. She scanned the room, and then saw him. She blinked. Jack? His head shot up. You're awake, he said, half laughing, half choking on his breath. I feel... She paused. Less dead than expected. He smiled. That's because I yelled at the doctors. A lot. She sat up, wincing. The forge. We stopped it? We did. And you stayed. He nodded. Of course I did. A silence settled between them. Not awkward. Just full. Then she said, I heard your voice. In the dark. It brought me back. The next week she walked again. Slowly. Rebel soldiers gave her space now. Some even nodded as she passed. A few saluted. They had seen what she did. No words could erase that. Still, some avoided her. One officer whispered that she was the enemy still wearing a mask. Jack heard it. He didn't argue. He didn't need to. Talara was healing, but something inside her had changed. She spoke less. She looked away when people stared too long. She spent long hours alone on the edge of the camp watching the sky. Jack finally asked her one evening, What's wrong? She turned to him, eyes softer than he'd ever seen. I fought many wars. I've survived them all. But I've never had to survive after. He sat beside her in the snow. This is the part they don't teach us, he said. She nodded. My people called it the quiet madness, the part of a warrior that doesn't know how to live without battle. And what do you call it? She looked up at the stars. The ache of having something to lose. Jack was quiet. Then he asked, What did you lose? She looked at him. Nothing yet, she whispered. And that's what scares me. That night, an old soldier named Briggs sat by the fire with them. You know, Briggs said, sipping tea. I saw her take down 4 of those spider drones with a damn pipe. I've never seen anything like it. She's not human. Another replied. Briggs shook his head. No, but maybe that's the point. She fights harder than most of us ever did. Talara overheard them. She didn't speak. But she stayed by the fire this time. She was learning how to belong, but peace never lasts in war. One morning the skies turned dark. A transmission broke through the outpost signal. A voice, low, cruel, familiar, the High Commander of the Zarketh. It wasn't a message, it was a challenge. You took our blade, you broke her chains, you made her weak, return her, or we will burn every city, every sky, every child of Earth. She belongs to us, or no one. The Rebel Council met in panic, they know where we are, they'll come for her. She's the reason they're coming. Jack slammed his hand on the table. She's the reason we're still alive. The council was divided. Some wanted to send her away or into exile. Some wanted to use her as bait. Jack said nothing more, but Talara heard every word. That night, she packed her weapons quietly. Jack found her before she could leave. You're running. I'm protecting you, she said. Bullshit. She turned sharply. They want me, not you, not this base. Me. If I leave, they'll follow. That buys you time. He stepped closer. Don't do this. Her voice cracked, just slightly. You said you'd do the same for me. I didn't mean this. I did, she whispered. But as she opened the gate, sirens blared. A scout ship had landed. Too late. They were already here. The betrayal. The snow around the rebel outpost had melted, not from sunlight, but from fire. Smoke rose into the gray. Sky as warships circled above. The enemy had arrived, and they brought a message. Talara stood at the front gates, her armor newly rebuilt, her blade burning with faint blue energy. Beside her, Jack Reeves checked his weapon, heart pounding, like a drum. In the clearing below, the Zarketh forces stood in perfect formation, tall, armored, silent, warriors of a forgotten empire. And at their front, a man, no, a monster, stepped forward. His armor was black and gold, pulsing with dark veins of power. His eyes were fire behind a mask. He spoke with a voice that cracked the still air. Talara, you were born to kneel before the flame. You were forged for obedience. Return now, and your dishonor will be forgiven. Jack aimed his rifle. She didn't flinch. Her voice was calm. I was forged for truth, and I found it here. The commander raised his hand. Hundreds of weapons charged, the rebels prepared to dice, but then something unexpected happened. The commander lowered his hand again and smiled beneath his mask. No blood today, he said. Only choice. He raised a small cube in the air. A projection flickered from it. It was a video, grainy, raw, horrifying. It showed Earth, human cities, targets marked in red. This is the Pulse Echo, a second forge, smaller, mobile, and already inside your system. Gasps filled the rebel camp. Jack stepped forward. You're lying. The commander tilted his head. Am I? Let her return. And this vanishes. Let her stay, and your cities will burn. He looked at Talara. Choose, traitor. Save them. Or stay with your human toy. Then he turned and walked away. That night no one slept. Jack found Talara alone, standing beneath the stars. She didn't look at him when he spoke. They're bluffing. They're not, she said. You can't go back. If I return, they might shut it down. Or delay it. Buy you time. Jack's jaw tightened. You won't survive it. I don't need to, she said. You do. He stepped in front of her. No. She finally looked at him. I was raised to follow command. I broke that chain. But this is my fault too. I helped build the Echo prototype. Before I knew what it truly was. Jack stared at her, stunned. You never told me. I was ashamed, she said, and afraid you'd hate me. Jack backed away, and for the first time, she saw fear in his eyes. Not fear of her, but of losing her. She stepped forward. I lied. I betrayed myself, but I will not betray you. Jack swallowed hard. Then don't leave. At dawn, she was gone. Jack found her note in the snow, scratched into a metal plate. If you hate me for this, I accept it. If you die because of me, I'll never forgive myself. But if I can trade myself for peace, then my blood is worth the price. Tell them I fought until the end. Tell them I chose them. Tell yourself. I chose you. Talara arrived at the enemy camp alone. She stood before her old commander, unarmed. I return. In exchange, you shut down the Pulse Echo. The commander laughed. Of course, a deal is a deal. He turned away and signaled the detonation team. Back at the rebel base, Jack received a call. This is Orbit Command. Pulse energy spike detected. Location, Earth colony, New Berlin. No, Jack whispered. They lied. They're launching it anyway. He clenched his fists. Rage, panic, pain. She gave herself up for nothing. Then he looked at the message again. The signal path. There was a second line, hidden, encrypted, Talara's voice. They betrayed me. The Echo is active. Final launch in 1 hour. I'm inside the main ship, coordinates attached. If you're a... Hearing this, I failed. But maybe you won't. Jack didn't hesitate. He took a stolen stealth craft, flew straight through enemy patrol lines, silent as a ghost. Inside the ship, he fought like a man with nothing left to lose. No backup, no time, just one goal, save her, and stop the end. He found her in chains, bleeding, still breathing. Her eyes widened. Why? Because you're not dying alone, Jack said. He shot the lock open, pulled her up. You came, she whispered. Always, he said. They moved together through smoke and screams, dodging enemy fire, racing against a countdown. In the final chamber, the Pulse Echo charged with light. A console blinked, one button. Jack turned to her. Can we stop it? Yes, she said. But someone must stay, to hold the override. He didn't speak. He just looked at her and reached for the switch. She grabbed his hand. No, I stay. No. You said we don't die alone. Then let me live alone with this. Jack shook his head. I can't leave you. Tears mixed, with blood on her face. Then we both die. Silence. And then he kissed her. Soft. Fierce. Final. I love you, he said. She smiled. I know. Then she pushed him out, locked the door, and hit the switch. The ship exploded in the sky. The pulse echo was gone, and so was she, or so he thought. The last stand in the promise. They thought she was dead. But death, it seemed, had no hold on warriors with unfinished promises. Talara opened her eyes inside a medical pod floating in deep space. Cold air hissed out as the hatch cracked. Her body was weak. Her heart heavier. But she was alive, and he wasn't there. Not yet. The rebel fleet found her just in time. She was carried back to Earth orbit, barely breathing but stable. Jack Reeves was already there, staring out a window at the stars, believing he had lost her forever. When the door to the medbay opened and he saw her face, everything stopped. He didn't speak. He just walked forward and held her for a long time. But their time was not truly theirs. A new signal had been received just hours earlier. A final message from the High Commander of the Zarketh. You took the weapon, you broke the chain, then we will break the stars. Our fleet arrives in 5 days. Earth will be the first to fall, and your traitor will watch it burn. This wasn't just about power now. It was personal. The enemy wanted revenge, and they were bringing everything. 5 days. That's all they had to prepare. Talara, though still healing, returned to duty. She refused rest, refused pity. She trained with Jack and the rebel soldiers. She taught them Zarketh tactics, weaknesses, and old codes. She stood before a room of warriors who once feared her, and now followed her. Jack, meanwhile, worked with the engineers. Together, they built a new defense system using fragments from the destroyed pulse echo. A weapon that could strike once, and only once, but strong enough to turn the tide. They called it the Heartbreaker. On the 5th day, the sky tore open. Zarketh warships darkened the stars, dozens, hundreds, an armada of rage. Earth had no chance in a direct fight. The rebels had only one option: trap the flagship, take out the High Commander, and break the chain of command. Talara knew the flagship. She had walked its halls, and she had one plan left. The final battle began with fire and thunder. In the chaos, Jack and Talara took a stealth ship into the belly of the flagship. It was suicide. But they knew that. Inside, the ship pulsed like a living beast. Guards poured into the halls. Jack moved like a ghost with his rifle. Talara like a shadow with her blade. They made it to the throne room. The High Commander waited. For them, tall, armored, still smiling. You came back, he said. I came to end this, she replied. The fight was brutal. He was stronger, faster. Rage made him nearly unstoppable. But they had something he didn't. Each other. Talara distracted. Jack struck. Jack stumbled. Talara shielded. But in the final moment, as the commander lifted Jack off the ground, ready to crush his throat, Talara plunged her blade through his chest. Not once, 3 times. The commander gasped, choked, and fell. But not before pressing one last button. The flagship began to collapse, a core meltdown. They had 5 minutes. Go, Jack shouted. We can still make it. Talara stared at the console. The Heartbreaker is linked to this core. What? If we let it explode here in space, it will send a signal blast through the enemy fleet. It will disable every ship. Jack's eyes widened. But we'll be caught in it. She nodded. He grabbed her wrist. No, not this time. We find another way. There is no other way, she said. She stepped back. I was born to follow orders. Then I learned to choose. Now, I choose this. Jack looked at her for a long moment. Then he stepped beside her and took her hand. Then I choose it too. They activated the heartbreaker. A deep hum filled the ship. Light poured from the core. Then, nothing. Silence. Then a wave of white energy rushed through the stars like a scream from a god. Across space, the Zarketh fleet went dark. Ships stopped, moving. Weapons failed. Engines died. Earth was safe. But the flagship had vanished. Back on Earth, days passed with no word. The world mourned its heroes. Statues were planned. Songs were written. But none of it healed the ache of loss. Until a signal was received from the edge of Saturn. A life pod. 2 bodies. Alive. Jack and Talara were brought back in silence. No cheers, no medals, just hands reaching out. Faces in awe, and 2 warriors holding each other. Not as soldier and alien, not even as lovers, but as survivors. Months later, peace talks began. The new Zarketh leaders, younger, uncertain, reached out to humanity. Talara stood at the table, not as a warrior, but as a bridge. Jack stood beside her. When asked, "What changed everything?" she said. "You feared us because you never saw us bleed, but now you've seen us love."